Hi everyone, today I wanted to talk about sugar and how problematic it can be for our bodies when we consume too much of it. I know that I kind of touched on this topic in my intermittent fasting video, but I thought it kind of deserved its own little talk, so here it is. I think that it's also just an important topic because if there's anywhere to start when it comes to adjusting yourself to a healthier diet, it would be to start with minimizing sugar. We are just not meant to be consuming such large quantities of sugar like we do today. If you think about, where sugar is found in nature, it comes mostly from fruits and a handful of other natural sources like, honey and maple syrup. So if you think about how our bodies evolved, we really only had very limited access to sugar and only for a small portion of the year. Typically through the summer and into early fall when fruits are in season. And for the rest of the year, we would just survive off of vegetables, nuts and seeds, and meat and fish, but almost no sugar. And important side note here, when we eat sugar, it cues our body to store fat. And the reason for that is because we would need to gain some weight during the summer and into the early fall in order to kind of help us survive through hard winters and times of famine. So fast forward to the present in our extremely modernized world, and not only do we have access to fruit year-round, but sugar has been incorporated into essentially every processed food. So from chips to bread to sauces to cereals and sodas, sugar is literally in almost everything, and our bodies are just not meant for that, which is why type 2 diabetes is so rampant right now. And even if you are active and you have a relatively, you have a normal weight, if you're consuming a high sugar diet, you can still have type 2 diabetes, and it's called skinny diabetes, which is kind of ironic. But not only is sugar found in almost all processed foods, but it's also highly addictive. So every time you eat sugar, dopamine is released in the brain, and the same system that drugs activate in your brain is the same system that sugar activates. So there's definitely a chemical process that is going on, and that can kind of spark cravings and addiction if you're eating lots of sugars. So it's just highly addictive, and of course the more that you have it, the more you need to get that dopamine release and that brief feeling of, added energy and reward that you get from eating sugar. So it can definitely be a vicious cycle when you start to think about it and you realize that probably most items in your kitchen contain sugar. So, it hides as high fructose corn syrup in your ketchup and as dextrose in your little bag of pretzels. So everywhere you look, it's there. But I did want to make a recommendation for where to start if you are trying to cut back on sugar. I would recommend starting kind of slowly and weaning yourself off of it. I wouldn't recommend going cold turkey and just completely cutting it out of your diet. I did try to do that for 30 days, and it was really, really hard / impossible to do that. And I also had bad sugar withdrawals, so I was kind of like cranky during that time. But so I would recommend just slowly removing sugar out of your diet and kind of let your body adjust to eating lower levels of it. So my first recommendation would be to just completely go into your kitchen and just throw out any sodas and juices that you have. So I would recommend getting rid of them and also just never really drinking them, which sounds kind of hard. Of course, every now and then it's fine, but in terms of like what you have in your house, I would definitely get rid of juices and sodas, just because they have such high quantities of sugar in just one serving size. If you pour yourself just 1 cup of juice, you could already be over your recommended daily intake of sugar. So I'm actually gonna give you guys a small little demo just so you can have a visual on how much sugar actually is in certain juices and sodas. So first I'm just gonna show you guys how much sugar is in a 12-ounce serving of orange juice. So the most common breakfast drink has 33 grams of sugar. Alright, so there it is. This is how much sugar is in a glass of orange juice, so 12 ounces, a little bit more than a cup. There you go. And for the same size serving, a 12-ounce serving of either soda or apple juice, which most young kids drink, you have 39 grams of sugar. So that would be this amount plus that amount. And then the last example I wanted to give you guys was for grape juice, which is actually the base to a lot of green drinks or smoothies that you might get from like a smoothie place, which has 54 grams. So that would be this amount plus what I'm adding. And that's for the same size serving, so a 12-ounce glass. So this is how much sugar that we just ordinarily down in a glass of juice without really thinking about it. Obviously that's crazy. None of us would just eat this much sugar. But you know, when it's put into juice or soda, you know, you can't keep track of it. It just gets lost. It just adds up. We don't even know how much we're consuming. And the problem with having things like juice and soda is that you're not getting any of the benefit that you would get if you were eating a piece of fruit. So you're not getting any fiber, nothing like that. You're just mainlining pure sugar into your system, which is not, this is not how we're meant to eat. So I would definitely say that because juices and sodas are one of the #1 sources of our sugar intake in the US, it would be definitely a good place to start if you're looking to take some of that out. And not only do juice and soda just have a crazy amount of sugar, but they also contain chemically processed sugars like high fructose corn syrup, which isn't even sugar, it's just, yeah, it's all just chemically processed. So that isn't helpful. And then of course, don't think that substitutes like aspartame are any better because they have their whole other set of problems. Aspartame is commonly found in diet soda, so don't think that diet soda is any better than regular soda. I think it's actually worse, but just to give you guys a visual, this was my little sugar demo. So as you slowly start to eat less and less sugar, you can check what other foods you normally eat and look at the labels for sugar and kind of decide what you want to take out. There are definitely healthier substitutes out there. So, you know, if you're a soda fan, you might try like a flavored sparkling water, or if you're big on dessert, then maybe you can just try to go for some more fresh fruit with some whipped cream on top. Whipped cream I know is pretty low in calories and sugar for the most part, but it does satisfy that sweet craving, so that's a good option. And yeah, so I also attached a article in the description box below on sugar if you guys wanted to read a little bit more about it. And I also wrote down the title of a really good documentary on sugar that kind of explains all of this more in depth. And of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg, so if you wanted to do more research, you can of course totally do that. But hopefully if this information is new to you, this sums it up nicely and kind of put all the major points in a nutshell. So you guys can let me know what you think, and you can leave your comments below. If you did enjoy this video, please subscribe or give it a thumbs up. And yeah, I'd like to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I don't know if you guys wanted to see this plate of sugar up close. I think it looks like more in person. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all next Tuesday.